Asked her to be here.
Yeah, I
Wha
asked her.
Wow. Why
Yeah.
did you ask her?
Because, she speaks Kody.
Like, I feel like I understand him, yeah.
Mary did ask her to be there.
I know, it's because Robyn says that she can speak Kody.
Well, Kody can speak for himself. He's a grown-ass.
What if the biggest sin in the Brown family wasn't betrayal? It was pretending it never happened for years. Kody and Robyn clung to the lie of a sacred union, shielding themselves behind faith and silence. But now Christine and Janelle are speaking out, and what they're exposing isn't just emotional cheating, it's spiritual adultery in a church where a kiss before sealing is a sin. Kody's entire narrative crumbles. This isn't just about love, it's about power doctrine and the truth no one dared say. Until now, it began with whispers. Soft, careful words cloaked in obedience and restraint. Christine and Janelle, once loyal partners in a faith-built house of cards, had always known to mind their tone. But now the air around them thickens with implication. They don't scream or accuse. They speak encoded truths in phrases like, "It just didn't feel right," or "It wasn't the way we do things." But behind every word lies a rupture, because what they're really saying is this: Kody and Robyn's relationship began not in sacredness, but in secrecy, and possibly sin, in a world where a man is expected to take wives under divine appointment. There's a sacred choreography. Courtship is swift, silent, and sanctioned. Anything else is dangerous to spend too long with a woman. Before she's been given to you isn't romantic, it's rebellion. And yet Kody lingered. He visited, he connected, he touched emotionally, and perhaps more before any sealing ceremony took place. It wasn't just unorthodox, it was in their doctrine unholy. But instead of confronting it with fury, Christine and Janelle simply let the facts speak louder than the facade. Their restraint is their revenge. Because when you're raised in a culture where stepping out of line could cost you salvation, calling something inappropriate is the same as sounding an alarm. What they revealed wasn't just about a man falling in love. It was about a prophet breaking the very laws he demanded they live by, and as their quiet voices ripple outward, the illusion of spiritual integrity begins to fracture Kody. And Robyn didn't just fall in love. They fell from grace, and everyone is finally watching the landing. Robyn always wore virtue like a veil, soft, untouchable, framed by modesty and selective memory for years. She clung to the story that she and Kody shared, only chased kisses before marriage, the kind you'd give your grandmother or your child, harmless, holy, almost laughably sterile. But when pressed, that story began to fray, because within the culture, they claim even that level of affection is a violation, and Robyn knew it. So did Kody in the Apostolic United Brethren. Their church, there's no room for premarital intimacy, no matter how innocent it appears. No holding hands, no kissing, not even flirting the moment you express desire. Without a sealing covenant, you're stepping into sin. So Robyn's insistence that their courtship was chaste is not just a lie, it's a theological cover-up. It's a defense built to comfort outsiders, not to satisfy the law they swore to uphold. And yet Robyn stood before Suki in the tell. All looked straight into the camera and lied. She said it without a flinch, and the silence that followed said everything, because it wasn't just about a kiss. It was about years of moral manipulation. Christine, Janelle, they followed the rules. They honored the vow. But Robyn, she got exceptions. She got special treatment, and then she got the legal marriage. The sting isn't just spiritual, it's systemic. It's the kind of betrayal that rewrites the power structure. Robyn pretended to be the righteous outsider, the clean slate. But the truth is, she was already tangled with Kody before the ink dried on their covenant. And the moment they denied that reality, they didn't just lie to the viewers. They erased the sacrifices every other wife made to keep the family's fragile honor intact. Janelle had always been the quiet strategist, the one who managed the family finances, kept the peace, and rarely aired grievances in public. But something changed. Maybe it was years of betrayal, calcifying into clarity. Maybe it was watching her sons become collateral damage in Kody and Robyn's love story. Or maybe it was just time in the tell. All Janelle didn't explode. She dismantled calmly, methodically, and with a tone that cut deeper than rage ever could. She called the courtship inappropriate a simple word, but in their faith it's loaded. It means lines were crossed, boundaries violated, not just spiritual ones, but moral and communal. In the AUB, inappropriate isn't about scandal, it's about sin. It's code for adultery without saying the word, and Janelle didn't have to say it. The weight of her delivery was enough. Her revelation wasn't about jealousy or bitterness. It was about betrayal of covenant. Because while she and Christine played by the rules, upheld the structure, and deferred to Kody's authority, Robyn was receiving the full attention of a husband who had already mentally checked out of the plural marriage contract. The betrayal wasn't just physical, it was structural. Kody was shifting the gravitational pull of the entire family toward one woman, and everyone else felt the ground move beneath them. When Janelle spoke, it wasn't just for herself, it was for the collective hurt of being sidelined while pretending it was unity. Her voice cracked open the illusion that everything was fair, that Robyn was just the favorite by chance. No, Robyn was always Kody's singular obsession long before the marriage was sealed, and now with the foundation cracking, Janelle had nothing left to protect but the truth, and for the first time, she was finally ready to say it out loud. Robyn Brown looked Suki straight in the eye and said, "They did nothing, just a few chaste kisses, the kind of kisses she claimed you could do in front of your bishop." That's how far she took the performance. But anyone raised in the Apostolic United Brethren, anyone who actually lived the rules, knew that was a lie, wrapped in Sunday school ribbons in their church. Even kissing before sealing is strictly forbidden. No bishop would ever tolerate it. Robyn knew that Kody knew that, and yet she said it anyway, as if redefining the truth mid-sentence might erase what everyone else saw coming for years. This wasn't just a fib about physical boundaries, it was a calculated reframing of their entire origin story. Because if their courtship was chaste, then everything that followed Christine's heartbreak, Janelle's doubt, Mary's slow unraveling, was just fallout from normal love. But if Robyn lied, if their courtship was built on secret visits, sneaky affection, and rules bent for one person, then it wasn't just a betrayal, it was a rigged game from the beginning. Robyn's deception wasn't loud, it was subtle, packaged in soft tones and trembling hands, but the impact was seismic. Her lie wasn't just to the audience, it was to the other wives, to the church, to the very belief system that supposedly gave their family its purpose in that quiet, staged moment on the tell. All couch, she tried to rewrite history with a smile, but the truth always leaks. It's in the silences after Christine speaks, it's in the look Janelle gives when Robyn starts to spin, and it's in the legacy of a marriage that began not with honor, but with a secret one that still poisons everything it touches to the outside world. Robyn and Kody's love story might look unconventional, but to those inside the Apostolic United Brethren, it was heresy in plain sight. Their faith doesn't just preach eternal union, it mandates it. The rules are carved in spiritual concrete. No physical contact before sealing, no affection without divine appointment, doctrine and covenants 1-3-2 spells it out with chilling clarity. If a woman engages with a man before the sealing, she's committed adultery. If she's sealed, and even so much as looks outside the union, she's condemned, destroyed. That's the word they use again and again, destroyed. This is the terror that polygamous women grow up with, that their salvation, their eternity, their right to exist in the next life hinges on absolute obedience, not just to God, but to the man they've been given to. And when that man breaks the rules, bends the laws, rewrites the script, there is no recourse, there is only silence or exile. Janelle and Christine weren't just calling out bad behavior, they were revealing a theological scandal. Kody didn't just flirt with Robyn, he violated vows. He corrupted a system that was already suffocating, and Robyn, she didn't just break a rule, she accepted a man's touch before the covenant, before the sealing, knowing full well the consequences for every other woman who dared to do the same. This wasn't love. It was a quiet revolution, a spiritual crime hidden under soft lighting and edited confessionals. Kody and Robyn didn't just bend the rules, they used faith as a shield for personal indulgence. And in doing so, they made a mockery of the very beliefs they demanded everyone else respect for Christine and Janelle. It wasn't just betrayal, it was sacrilege, and the fallout was only just beginning. Marriage should have ended the whispers, seeing, should have silenced the doubt. But for Kody and Robyn, the wedding was just a new phase of secrecy. In a household where nights were divided by a sacred schedule, each wife granted her appointed time. Kody's favoritism became blatant days. He was meant to spend with Christine or Janelle, somehow blurred into long, unexplained visits to Robyn's house. What was once a polygamous rotation became a one-woman show, and everyone else was left in the shadows in their faith. This isn't just emotional betrayal, it's spiritual infidelity. Each wife wasn't just a partner, she was a covenant, a sealed promise, and time was sacred. When Kody skipped Christine's night to spend it with Robyn, it wasn't just a bad husband moment, it was by their doctrine, adultery. The schedule wasn't optional. It was a spiritual contract, a broken one. Christine, who's always tried to speak with grace, never used the word affair, but her face told the truth, her pauses, her careful choice of inappropriate. Because what else do you call it when the man who vowed to love you equally hides out with another woman every night? What else do you call it when your marriage dissolves, not because of a big betrayal, but 1,000 tiny rejections? Janelle saw it too. The slow erasure of her own place in Kody's life. She watched him vanish behind Robyn's door while she handled finances, raised children, and clung to dignity. The other wives were expected to obey the rules while Robyn and Kody rewrote them in real time. This wasn't polygamy anymore. It was a monarchy with Robyn as queen, and Kody her willing enabler, and the wives, they were loyal subjects, finally realizing their ruler had never played by the same commandments. Behind every whisper of betrayal stood a wall of doctrine, a centuries-old scripture wielded more like a weapon than a guide. Doctrine in Covenants 132 wasn't just a religious relic. It was the rule book for salvation, marriage, power, and punishment in the world Kody and his wives inhabited, and it was clear: intimacy before sealing, adultery, disobedience after covenant, spiritual destruction. This wasn't just sin, it was soul death, and for the women the stakes were always higher. The very law that justified Kody's polygamy also damned any woman who dared step out of line. If she questioned her husband's authority, she was a transgressor. If she left him, she risked eternal ruin. The men could collect wives like trophies under the illusion of holy duty. But the wives, they were spiritual hostages, told that their only path to heaven was through the man who claimed them. Christine and Janelle knew this scripture by heart. They were raised on it. They tried to live by it. But watching Kody twist that same covenant to justify his growing obsession with Robyn, it was too much. Christine didn't just see favoritism, she saw a breach of spiritual contract. Janelle didn't just lose her husband, she watched him weaponize God against them all. And Robyn, she played the victim, hiding behind the claim that she never wanted to cause trouble. But she knew the rules too. She knew kissing before sealing was forbidden. She knew her presence in Kody's home on Christine's day wasn't just rude, it was doctrinally damning. Still, she smiled, played coy, and let Kody carry the weight of rebellion. Doctrine was supposed to unite this family in faith, but instead it created a hierarchy of power where one woman rose and the rest were spiritually abandoned under the guise of divine order. Christine never said the word, but everyone heard it between the lines: inappropriate. That's what she called it when Kody spent her nights with Robyn, when he skipped their time together and claimed it was no big deal in their world. That word, soft, almost polite, was a missile, because under the laws they live by, what Kody did wasn't just emotionally cruel, it was adultery. He was sealed to Christine, to Janelle, to Mary. Each wife came with a spiritual covenant, And part of that sacred agreement was balance, equal love, time, attention. Kody's schedule was the law of the land. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Each day belonged to a different woman, but Robyn was the exception. The rule breaker, the one he couldn't stay away from, even on days he wasn't supposed to be with her. He snuck over, stayed too long, ignored the schedule, and in doing so, broke the unspoken vows that held everything together. And here's the twist: adultery in their doctrine isn't just sleeping with someone outside the marriage, it's disloyalty to your covenant, it's spiritual imbalance, it's favoring one wife above the others, to the point of betrayal. And that's exactly what Kody did over and over, while pretending it was just love, just chemistry, just fate. But Christine knew better. She saw it happened in real time. Her husband disappeared, and in his place stood a man who worshipped Robyn as if she were the only one who mattered. Janelle felt it too, the slow erosion of equality, the collapse of what little structure held their plural marriage together. What Robyn called love they knew as desertion. And when you live under a faith that says imbalance is sin, that's not just inappropriate, that's a theological earthquake with Kody at the epicenter. While Christine and Janelle spoke in layered truths, and Mary wrestled silently with betrayal, Robyn mastered a different language altogether. Strategic silence, she cried when convenient whispered loyalty, when it served her, and floated through tell-alls with an eerie calm that looked less like grace and more like calculation. Her refusal to fully speak was never about humility. It was control, and in a family unraveling at the seams, silence was her sharpest weapon. Robyn's version of gray rocking, saying almost nothing, emotionally disengaging, offering vague support without taking any stand, protected her from scrutiny. It let her step over the broken pieces of other marriages without leaving footprints. She didn't need to lie outright. All she had to do was avoid the truth, dodge direct conflict, and let Kody do the fighting for both of them. And he did raging, spinning, blaming the other wives for being jealous, for being bitter, for not accepting Robyn's pure heart. But the damage was visible. Christine's voice trembled with restraint. Janelle's resolve hardened with every quiet dismissal. Even Mary, who once played the obedient wife, was starting to see the manipulation for what it was. Robyn wasn't just the favorite, she was the enabler, the silent partner in a long con that replaced sisterhood with suspicion and doctrine with deceit. And the silence wasn't just emotional, it became legal, financial, strategic. Robyn never explained where the money went, how decisions were made, or why Kody's loyalty to his other wives evaporated overnight. She didn't need to. The silence was working, every question dodged, was another thread cut from the tapestry of family trust. And by the time anyone realized how much damage that silence had caused, it was too late. The family wasn't just fractured, it was spiritually and emotionally gutted, one quiet manipulation at a time. Ask ChatGPT for years, the Brown family danced around the truth, masking betrayal with religious platitudes and calling infidelity by softer names like favoritism or inappropriate affection. But as Christine and Janelle peeled back the veil, the word they'd all been avoiding finally came into view. Adultery, not metaphorically, not emotionally, but doctrinally. According to the very scriptures Kody once preached, his early relationship with Robyn wasn't just messy, it was forbidden in their faith. Physical intimacy before sealing is considered a spiritual violation. A kiss isn't just a kiss, it's an eternal offense. And when Robyn Kody claimed their courtship was chaste, she wasn't just dodging gossip, she was rewriting church law. Christine saw it. Janelle hinted at it. Even Mary, in her silence, seemed to flinch every time the lie was repeated, because they knew the truth. The foundation of Kody and Robyn's union wasn't built on celestial order. It was built on secrecy, deception, and a betrayal of the very system they claimed to uphold. And what made it worse was Kody's weaponization of faith. He used it to control the wives, to guilt them into silence, to make them question their worth. He talked of loyalty, of covenants, of heavenly kingdoms, but broke them all when it suited him. The women were expected to obey, to endure, to forgive. But he was always exempt. Even his betrayal became holy when he spun the narrative. But now the spell is broken. The wives are no longer afraid to call out the truth, even if they still wrap it in cautious terms. Inappropriate now means betrayal, untraditional now means adultery. And with every revelation, Robyn and Kody's kingdom, built on spiritual loopholes and selective morality, crumbles under the weight of its own hypocrisy. The family's reckoning is no longer coming. It's here. If Kody and Robyn built their marriage on secrets, it's only fitting that truth is what finally tears it down as Christine and Janelle reclaim their voices. What else will surface from behind that carefully constructed facade? We're only just beginning to unravel the damage. Don't miss a single reveal. Tap like if this hit you, share it with your fellow TLC truth seekers and subscribe so you're the first to hear what drops next.